Ohayou gozaimasu. Good morning. I think we are live, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know why or what's going on, why I can't show you my screen, but I can't. So, we're just gonna roll with it, and I'm just gonna go and try to teach you in this format just so you can see me. I do apologize. I'm not sure why it is being so fussy today. And I have the live stream on my phone as well as on my computer here. So I can see any questions that you might have. Okay, I'm going to go through phrases that you can use when you want to introduce yourself to someone in Japanese. And the first thing you want to say in Japanese when you meet someone for the first time, this is only for the first time, you say, "Hajimemashite." I'll slow it down for you. Hajimemashite. Hajimemashite. Okay? Hajimemashite. Now, it might be difficult to say at first, but with practice, just say it over and over again. It'll become a lot easier, and you can do it quicker. Hajimemashite. Okay? This translates to something like, "Oh, nice to meet you." "Oh, it's good to meet you." And then, once you say hajimemashite, people usually will state their name. So you can put in your name and then des. Okay? Name des. Right? Which basically means I am blank. Right? I am whatever name you give them. Hajimemashite. And I'll use my name, David, right? Hajimemashite. David desu. Okay, that is a perfectly fine introduction. Hajimemashite. Name desu. Okay, I'll throw in some Japanese names. Tanaka. Tanaka is a common family name in Japan. So you could say if your last name is Tanaka, Hajimemashite. Tanaka desu. Right? Another common family name is Suzuki. Hajimemashite. Suzuki desu. Right? The most common English family name is Smith, or in Japanese, Smith. Right? Smith. Hajimemashite. Smith desu. Right? If you want, you should probably write all these down, make flashcards, right? If you're serious about the learning Japanese and using Japanese, I think flashcards are a great resource that you can use to memorize these phrases, these words. Hajimemashite, right? Ha, it's exactly, you would spell it exactly as it sounds, right? Ha, H-A, G, J-I, me, M-E, hajimema, M-A for ma, hajimema, shi, S-H-I, te, T-E, right? Hajimemashite. And then if you want to, once you're done introducing yourself, hajimemashite, we'll use Yamada, right? Japanese family name, Yamada. Hajimemashite, Yamada desu. You could ask the person now, what is your name? Excuse me, what is your name? And in Japanese, to say that, we would say, "Ano, onamae wa?" I'll say that slowly. "Ano, onamae wa?" Okay? "Ano, onamae wa?" Right? "Ano" means like, excuse me. Right? "Ano, onamae." Onamae is namae by itself. Namae means name. Okay? And a very polite way of asking for the name is to add o and then wa before and after the word for name. So o namae wa. And you kind of have to raise the pitch of your voice at the end to make it a question. Ano, onamae wa? Right? Onamae wa? You're going up at the end. This makes it a question. What is your name? Right? So from the beginning, from the top, right? If our family name is Yamada and we are introducing ourselves, はじめまして、山田です。お名前は Just like that, okay? And then the person answering, let's say their name is Smith, right? They would say, Smith desu, right? Smith is sumis in Japanese. And to say I am, we use des, right? Smith desu. そうですか. Well, you could say そうですか. Or if you want to confirm, right? If you want to confirm the name you just heard, repeat the name. スミスさんですね. Okay, that will confirm. スミスさんですね. スミスさんですね. And all we're doing is repeating basically what they said. スミスさん. スミスさんです. Smith, yeah. We're not repeating exactly what they said, right? They just said Smith des, name des. We are adding a little bit to the confirmation. Here's the confirmation. Smith san des ne, right? So we're adding san. What is san? San is a polite kind of prefix or title that you could add to other people's names. Right? So if you want to be polite and nice to the person you're talking to, go ahead and just add san after their family name, right? If you notice their family name, Smith-san, Smith-san. And then you add des, and it makes it, so you are Smith, Mr. Smith. Sometimes textbooks and people will translate san to mean Mr. or Mrs. or Miss, right? San. スミスさんですね. スミスさんですね. The ne at the end kinda is asking for confirmation. Oh, so you are Smith. You are Mr. Smith. スミスさんですね. Right? This is like, some people translate, it's a tag question marker or whatever. It is a grammatical thing. We don't really have that so much in English, but just memorize it here to mean a confirmation. すみさんですね. Okay? You will see ne a whole lot of times. And then finally, we could finish our introduction with どうぞよろしく. どうぞよろしく. Okay? There's actually another way to say a very common way. よろしくお願いします. よろしくお願いします. Right? And I'll say these again slowly. You could say どうぞよろしく. どうぞよろしく. Okay? どうぞよろしく. Alright? And then you could also say another version. よろしくお願いします. よろしくお願いします. Alright? よろしくお願いします. Both of these you will hear at the end of an introduction, of a self-introduction. Okay? When you meet someone for the first time, always end with either どうぞよろしく or よろしくお願いします. Now, literally, these phrases can be translated as, let's be kind to each other, or, please be kind to me. But that doesn't sound normal in English. So most textbooks, most curriculum will translate these final phrases to mean something like, it was nice to meet you. Something like that, right? If we were translating directly into English, it's great to meet you would be the best option, I think. So let's go down the list one more time. You always start with はじめまして. Name です。お名前は? Right? スミスです。スミスさんですね。どうぞよろしく。どうぞよろしく. Okay? And normally I have my people here, the person using a phrase, if you use one phrase like どうぞよろしく, the other person will mimic usually どうぞよろしく. Or if this person says よろしくお願いします, this person will probably respond with よろしくお願いします. And a typical way to greet each other in Japanese is through bowing, right? When you meet someone for the first time, you can bow. All right? Usually when people say よろしくお願いします, they do a slight kind of upper body bow, a slight bow, maybe about, I don't know, 20, 25 degrees down, right? Again, no touching, right? Someone you just met, you don't want to shake their hand. That is not the Japanese way. I am going to actually post right now into the comments section of this video a link. And let me see. If you go to the link I'm going to send you, this is the Marugoto website. And this is the website that accompanies our curriculum that we use. I'm not sure it will let me. Oh, okay. All right, if you follow that link, it should take you to a website, a life and culture section of the Marugoto website. If you go to topic 1, Nihongo, Japanese, right? There is a section called How to Address People. And this will go into different titles, different suffixes, right, that you can put on people's names, different people's names. San is the most common. San, S-A-N. You add this at the end of usually family names. You could end it after first names too, but you could usually it's added on after family names in Japanese to be polite, okay? San. If you want to be extra polite and extra formal, you could use sama. Sama. Okay, usually when you're in a business meeting and you're meeting a different business person for the first time, you would use sama, Suzuki-sama, right? Or if you're writing a letter, okay, and you're addressing the person, Suzuki-sama, you know, whatever, and you keep writing. You'll notice in the videos there's also a video on chan and kun. Or the use of no suffix at all. This is more kind of informal usages, especially for people that are younger. Like if you're talking to a little boy, you could say kun. You could use kun after his name. If you're talking to a little girl, you can use chan after her name. If you are really good friends with someone, the use of such suffixes goes away. You don't really use suffixes with your good friends. And then there's a third video. You could also click on the More Information button. This has some pretty interesting information about Japanese names and how they've come to be, differences between men and women's names, common Japanese names, marriage, how it works with marriage, things like that. Okay, let us move on. That's your basic introduction, right? はじめまして、name です。お名前は name です。name さんですね。どうぞよろしく。どうぞよろしく。What if you didn't hear their name? What if you couldn't really pick out what they were saying when they said their name? Okay? So, for example, if you had someone who said, ムハンマドです。ムハンマドです。But you couldn't really see in your mind how is that spelled or what did he say, right? What are our questions that we learned last week, right? Last week we had some questions to ask. Oh, could you say that again, please? In Japanese, if you want to say, oh, could you say that again? すみません。もう一度, right? And actually, that's all you have to say. すみません。もう一度. And they will understand and say the name. Okay, right? The longer phrase would be すみません、もう一度言ってください. Right? which means please say it one more time. In Japanese, thankfully, much of the time, many times, you don't have to say the ending. You could just start the question or the phrase, and the person who's listening will understand, you want me to say my name again. Okay? So, すみません。もう一度、ムハンマドです。ムハンマド。Right? And again, we'll confirm. ムハンマドさんですね。Right? Confirmation. It's very common in Japanese, actually. Okay, let us move on now. I want to talk about some countries, some very specific parts of the world, and I'm going to give you some vocabulary to do with countries of the world. All right, let me bring up my countries list first of all. Okay, if you want to say Asia, the word for Asia in general, that will be Asia. Asia, right? Ajia, Asia. If you want to say Africa, right? We're doing continents first. Africa. 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 Right? Africa. Africa. Very close to Africa, right? If you want to say Europe, Europa. Europa. Okay? Europa. All right? Europa. That is Europe. Let's see, we have Africa, we have Asia, we have Europe. If you want to say, let's just go with America, as in the United States. So if you want to say the USA, America, America, America. Okay? Some people hear the R, the Japanese R, and they ask me all the time, how do you say the Japanese R? It doesn't sound like an American R. It certainly is not an American R. The Japanese R, occurs kind of in the front, right? The American R, the tongue is way back here. R, or actually it's like this. R, right? The tongue curls back R, but in Japanese, the tongue is more forward, kind of behind your gum, right behind the gum connecting to your two front teeth. So you're going to put your tongue right there, the tip of your tongue, and then make the mouth shape for the vowel. So, da, ni, ru, re, ro. Okay? A, I, U, E, O, da, ni, ru, re, ro in Japanese. So the word America is going to be pronounced America. America. Okay? I live in America for now. The word for the United Kingdom, Britain, イギリス. Right? イギリス. There's a s at the end. We don't really say the u sound so much. Kind of falls off. So イギリス, right? イギリス is the United Kingdom. The country of Italy, this is really easy. Italia. 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 Okay? Italy. Italia. The country of India is going to be Indo. 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 The country Indonesia, Indonesia. 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 The country of Egypt, Egipto. 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 The country, this is a difficult one, Australia. Australia. オーストラリア。Yeah. ラリア。オーストラリア。The country of Canada. This is an easy one. カナダ。カナダ。カナダ。The country of South Korea. 韓国。韓国。韓国。The country of Spain. スペイン。スペイン。スペイン。Okay. I'm going to go to China. Ooh, this is a big one. The country of China. 中国。中国。中国。中国。The country of Germany. ドイツ。ドイツ。ドイツ。The country Japan itself. There's actually two ways. The most common way you will hear is 日本。日本。日本。You might also hear 日本。日本。日本。日本 is more of a, like if you're talking about Japan as a country in the kind of political sense, or as a country as a world power, right? You say Nippon, right? Sounds a little more official, I guess. The word for, let's go to the Philippines. The Philippines. Philippine. 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 The country of Brazil. 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 The word for France, the country of France. 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 The country of Vietnam. 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 Mexico. 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 That's kind of a tricky one, right? You have to get those hard sounds together. Mexico. Mexico. Okay. Russia. 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 Okay, so those are the countries that I will go over for now. If you want to say a person from those countries, right? If you want to talk about a person like a Mexican person, an American person, a Japanese person, right? It's very simple. Take the country name, and add the suffix jin. Jin. J-I-N. Jin. Okay? So if I want to say an Asian person, we'll use Asia, Asia, and Jin, meaning person, right? An Asian person, Asia Jin. Asia Jin. Okay? If I want to say an American person, America Jin. America Jin. If I want to say a British person, イギリス人。イギリス人。How would I say an Italian person? Right? Do you know? The word for Italy, remember, is Italia. And then, how do you say Italian, an Italian person? Italia jin. Italia jin. It's funny, when I was teaching Japanese at a private school the past 2 years, I had a student, her name looked very much like this, and I called her Italy pretty much in Japanese in our Japanese class the whole 2 years that I had her. She was Italy for me. Italia, Italia jin. How would I say Canadian. How do you say a Canadian person, right? The word for Canada, do you remember? Canada. Jin, right? Canada Jin. Canada Jin. A Canadian person. Do you remember the word for Korea, South Korean? Kankoku. Kankoku Jin. Kankoku Jin. Right? A Canadian person. Kankoku Jin. What about a Chinese person? A Chinese person, right? The word for China again, 中国. 中国. So Chinese person would be 中国人. 中国人. And you know what? We will end with Japanese person. How do we say Japanese person? 日本人, right? 日本人. Very simple, right? Japanese is actually a lot easier than some people. It's a lot easier than a lot of people think. At least in this respect, it is. Making nationalities, right? You just add jin. How do you make languages? A certain language. Actually, the process is very similar. We're going to use a different ending. Not jin, but go. Okay? Go. G-O. If you add go to a country, usually you will get the language of that country. For example, French. If I want to say the French language, I would take France, France, and add go. Fransego. Fransego, right? That means French as a language. French language. Fransego. If I want to say Spanish, right? We have a lot of Spanish speakers in Miami, South Florida. I will take Spain, right? Spain, and add go. Spaingo. Spaingo. Okay? If I want to take Korea and say the Korean language, right? Korean. Kankoku go, right? Kankoku go. Korean language. If I want to say Japanese, the Japanese language, right? We take Japan, Nihon, and add go. Nihongo. Nihongo. You are learning Nihongo right now, right? Nihongo. This does not always work. For example, you cannot say Americago, right? That doesn't work. That means American language. But there's no such thing as American language, right? In America and England and Canada and let's see if there's any other country on here. Not on my list. New Zealand, Australia, right? We speak English, right? So for countries that speak English, you want to say 英語. Okay? 英語. Yeah. 英語 is English, basically. 英語. If you are from America, you speak 英語. If you are from Canada, you speak 英語. If you are from Australia, you speak 英語. Okay? If you are from イギリス, right? The UK, you speak 英語. All right? What about Spanish? Okay, this is another one. You cannot say Mexico, right? There's no Mexican language, right? I mean, I'm sure there's indigenous languages in Mexico, but to say Spanish, right? Mexican people speak Spanish. So for Mexico, if you are Mexican, Mexico-jin, you speak Spaingo, okay? Spaingo. There is that kind of caveat there. For most other languages, you will say the country name, simply the country name, and go to mean the language of that country. So Germany, for example, if you want to speak German, you will say Deutsch go. ドイツ語 right? German language. If you want to speak Thai, タイ語 I think. I'm pretty right. Thai is its own language, correct? I'm pretty sure. Okay, so that's how you make nationalities and languages. All right, nationalities and languages. So now I want to give you some phrases to use with this. If you want to ask someone, where are you from? A very, very polite way to ask someone where they're from is どちらから? Right? Kind of raise the pitch of your voice. どちらから? Right? どちらから means where are you from? どちらから? Okay? And if you want to respond, it's very simple. Just say the country です. Right? Country です. So if I'm responding, I'm from China, which I'm not from China. But if I'm from China, right, you would, if you're asked どちらから, you can respond, 中国です. Okay? 中国です. All right? Another example. どちらから? アメリカです. 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 Right? The typical response in Japanese is そうですか. 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 All right? This means like, oh, I see. Oh, really? Is that so? そうですか. Okay? そうですか. If you want to ask if they can do a language or speak a certain language, you say the language, or this way, right? Say the language, like Chinese, right? 中国語. 中国語 and then できますか? できますか? That is a good phrase to remember. できますか means can you do? Literally, it means can you do it? Can you do Chinese language, right? In English, the more natural way would be can you speak this language, right? But this is a fine way of asking someone politely, can you speak a language? 中国語できますか? And we have some options here. Yes, I can. はい、できます. Okay? はい、はい、H-A-I. はい means yes in Japanese, right? Very polite way of saying yes. はい、できます. できます is the positive way of saying yes, I can. I can. できます. はい、できます. All right? If you can kind of do it, add the word 少し. Okay? 少し. はい、少しできます. 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 Yeah, I can speak it a little, right? I can do it a little. All right? If you cannot speak the language at all, then you should say いいえ、できません. Okay? いいえ, I-E in English, right? いいえ means no. It's a formal, polite way of rejecting. いいえ, no. できません. できません. This is a polite way of saying I can't do it. できません. Okay? いいえ、できません. No, I can't speak Chinese, right? So let's do it from the top. どちらから? 中国です. そうですか. 中国語できますか? はい、できます. Or はい、少しできます. Or いいえ、できません. If you are from China, I'm pretty sure you should be able to speak Chinese, right? So try this with Japanese, okay? どちらから? Right? Where are you from? And how would you say, oh, I'm from Japan, right? Do you know? The answer? 日本です. Okay? 日本です. 日本 is Japan. です. I am. Or I am from, I guess you could say. 日本です. あ、そうですか。日本語できますか? Right? 日本語 Japanese language. できますか? Can you speak, right? Can you do? いいえ、できません. No, I can't. For most of you watching, I'm sure the phrase はい、少しできます is better, right? はい、少し. Little bit. I can speak a little bit. 少しできます. Right? I can speak a little bit of Japanese. そうですか. Oh, really? Right? You will hear that phrase a lot. そうですか. 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 どちらから? All right, so these are phrases you should remember. And I'm giving you a lot of vocabulary. And that's because normally I would show videos and stuff. Actually, you know what? I can still show you a video. You'll have to watch it for later. I'm going to paste a link in the comments below. If you go to a1.marugotoweb.jp and you go to topic 2, can do 5, give a simple self-introduction. There are some videos that you can watch. I'm going to copy and paste these. Okay. All right. Follow the link that I just pasted into the comments. You should see some videos on the Marugoto website. Watch those on your own time. Practice your self-introductions using all of these phrases that I have given you today. Okay? どちらから?はじめまして。すみません、もう一度。Okay. Let us move on. We have quite some time, so I'm going to move on to jobs. Jobs. Let me give you some jobs that you can do or that you can use when you're talking about yourself in your introduction. The word for a job or jobs in Japanese is 仕事. 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 Right? A job. If you are a medical doctor, right, you practice medicine, you are 医者. 医者. Okay? 医者. Do we have any 医者 in the watching this video? I don't know. If you are an engineer, right, an engineer. 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 Right? That's obviously taken from the English word engineer. If you are just a regular company employee, if you are a cog in the big machine, you are a 会社員. 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 Okay? 会社 is company. 員 is employee, basically. 会社員. Okay, company employee. If you are a student, I know many of us are students. 学生, 学生, 学生. Okay, kind of a high pitch 学生. And don't worry about pitch accent. Everyone will understand what you are saying. 学生 is a student. Any student, could be high school, middle school, university, right? 学生. Nurse. If you are a nurse, you are a 看護師. 看護師. 看護師。看護師。Okay? If you are a teacher or an instructor, the word for teacher is 教師。教師。教師。I was 教師 for 2 years. Okay? If you are self-employed, this is an interesting word. 自営業。自営業。自営業。Okay? Self-employed. 自営業。If you are a housewife or a homemaker, as some people say, 主婦。主婦。主婦。Okay? 主婦。Do we have any farmers watching? The word for farmer is 農家。農家。農家。Okay? And here are some other words related to jobs. If you work a part-time job, you are working an アルバイト。アルバイト。This word actually comes from the German Arbeit, right? So アルバイト。Japanese borrowed it from them. You could shorten it. Japanese love shortening words all the time to the word バイト。バイト。Right? Just the second part, just the second half of that word. バイト。That's very casual though, okay? Be careful with that. There is another word from English, パートタイム。パートタイム。Or, again, right, we could shorten it, make our lives a little easier. パート。パート。Right? パート。Okay? If you want to work at a hospital, right? If we have any 医者 or 看護師, doctors or nurses, you probably work at a 病院, 病院, which means hospital, right? Hospital. 病院, 病院. It's an interesting word. If you are 教師 or 学生, right? A teacher or a student, you guys probably often go to 学校, 学校, right? 学校 means school, a school. This is usually an elementary, middle, or high school. 学校. Okay? And I think we will stop there when it comes to jobs, all right? If you want to ask, oh, what is your job? What do you do? It's a very short question. お仕事は? Right? We saw this earlier with, what is your name? お名前は? You could do the same for jobs. お仕事は? Right? Very polite way of asking, what is your blank? Add お and wa at the end of the noun. So the noun here is job, 仕事. So add お and wa surrounding it. お仕事は? What is your job? What is your work? What do you do? お仕事は? And you just respond with your job. I'm an engineer, right? エンジニアです。エンジニアです。Okay? エンジニアです。お仕事は? 医者です。I'm a doctor. お仕事は? 看護師です。I'm a nurse. お仕事は? 教師です。I'm a teacher. Right? The response. あ、そうですか。Oh, really? そうですか。And then you could mention what you are. 私は, let's say, 会社員です。Right? 私は, 私, I, me, right? I am, right? 私は. So as for me, right? We're done talking about you. As for me, it doesn't sound rude like that. It's normal in Japanese. 私は, what did I say? 会社員です。 right? 会社員 I am a company employee. 会社員です All right, so this just many jobs, how to ask, what is your job? お仕事は and respond. Engineer です I'm an engineer, okay? Wow, we did a lot despite not having the ability to show my screen for some reason. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know why suddenly Chrome, I have to use Chrome to show my screen on Facebook Live. I don't know why that function has just not been working today. It's so weird. I apologize. This is totally unexpected. Next week, hopefully, I'll have everything up and running. After this, the JCC page on Facebook will be streaming the trilingual Bible study in English, Japanese, and Spanish. Please feel free to join. I totally meant to do something completely different today with a Bible verse, translation, and everything, but because I couldn't share my screen, we didn't get to do that. So we'll figure this out, okay? Thank you guys for joining. Stay safe, be safe, and again, stay tuned for the Bible study, trilingual Bible study that will be streaming on the Facebook page very shortly. See you guys. Bye bye.